Throughout my 10 years of Rainbow Six Siege, I've never once run into an operator that genuinely had me mind-boggled. And to that, it is Denari, the new Defender of Siege. So, let's get into his kit. Denari's kit consists of two SMGs, the all-popular Scorpion and the FMG-9. That's the one that Smoke has as well. And a new secondary, the Glaive 12, a 4-shot slinging slug shotgun. That took me like 5 takes, but we got it. Or the all-popular P226 that is usually given to SAS operatives. Now, his kit strikes me as interesting as both of his primaries are SMG class, where most attackers and defenders would at least have some diversity, but let's actually get into the complex part of his kit, which is his ability. His ability is the Trip Connector. Essentially, when you place one down, it does nothing, but if it has sightline to another Trip Connector, it places a laser between the two. When this little laser trip mine is activated on an attacker, what it does is does 20 damage and slows them down for 8 seconds. This is crazy. And more crazy when you remember that it is a 8-second recharge. So unlike a Rooney's Surrogate, you don't have to shoot it to reactivate it, it just reactivates on its own. Well, Kevin, that seems pretty simple as an ability, until you realize he has 7 of these things. You can basically turn any room in the game into a Mission Impossible scene, where you're slowly going through all these lasers, hoping not to get zapped and tased. And personally for me, I think the part I struggled with the most is visualization. To my new players, visualization is something you guys will also struggle with, but here's a good example. The operator Mute for defense is a perfect operator that is one that you're going to place the same stuff every time. You get 4 mute jammers, and so guess what? You're going to place them in the same spots every time. You're going to place them on the wall, you're going to place them on the stairs, you're going to place them on the drone holes. They never change, and you can do this entire process of planning in your head before the phase even starts. This is the core idea of visualization. Am I selecting an operator that I know I can place their ability before the round starts? But Denari removes that whole idea right off the bat. I'm telling you right now that we're probably never going to see the same Denari setup every time. It's always going to change a little bit, and I've seen some and made some creative spots. But throughout my matches of, playing against operators, playing as Denari, seeing enemies react, and even looking at other people playing Denari, I've noticed some interesting patterns, and there's 3 big ones, along with a kind of secret playstyle that nobody's really fully utilizing. The first and the most meme one would be the insta-kill Denari. Essentially, you can cover one doorway or one window with just a shit ton of lasers, and I mean a shit ton. Cause if a tripwire is activated, any other tripwires that it's also connected to aren't activated immediately, which means that they're all separate from each other. And you have 70 stains, if they're all connected to each other, it does enough damage to kill operators immediately. The only problem with this strategy is, well, it's easy to set up. It can get destroyed from a well-placed burst of shots, or the most common, like in this clip, a grenade. And Denari's removed from the game from it. Now the second one struck me off guard, and it was a beginner using them like tripwires. Yeah, creative, right? This may have been the least creative one, but it also showed the most effectiveness, because simply, if you place it far from the actual inner part of the door frame, attackers can't really get rid of it without using utility. If attackers want to really try to peek it to shoot it with their gun, they're going to put themselves in a risky way where Denari with his deployable shield can really just shoot him right then and there. And, if they try just running through the doorway or mess up shooting it, they're going to get zapped and they're going to be slow for a fat minute. The pro of this strat is, well, it's easy as hell to set up, and a good tip to my beginners, pair it up with a Rooney. If you place a Surrogate on there and then place the tripwire at the bottom, drones can't even get through, and you're going to destroy a lot of utility or cause a lot of chaos on the enemy's end. Now, the con to this one is you're not really using Denari to his full potential, but this one is just reliable, and I saw it work plenty of times in my games. And the third and final strat, and this is easily the hardest strat to pull off, making a Mission Impossible movie. Essentially, you can cover one room, cover plenty of windows with what I call as a pylon. Now, and most often, what I refer to as your web, there's going to be that middle one. This middle connector I refer to as the pylon. Essentially, all your lasers are going to connect to that. Now, the pro is it usually has easy sight to the other connectors, but the con is that one 9mm round can instantly destroy your entire defense. But how can we modify this idea and turn it into that fourth little secret playstyle I told you about earlier? Let's take this hallway and coastline for example. I decided that I think it would be a good idea to hold this hallway. So let's build our web that requires enemies to spend a long time disarming it, dissuading, or punishing the rash tactics they might have to do to get to you. By placing your connectors in a certain way, you can basically make a whole negative zone where people have to make themselves way more exposed just to get rid of one little connector. And here's the great part, even if one connector is destroyed, your entire defense is not going to die. You have a layered defense, and that's a big deal. And with the simple placement of a deployable shield, well, you have a hallway all by yourself as a defender, especially a high traffic area for a hallway as well. The thing that Denari players I think are going to really need to get down, I think what you beginners are going to excel ahead of us, is by wasting enemy time. You beginners are going to be able to show us back to the base roots of the game. How much time are they going to have to spend to shoot out each connector? Because trust me, some of these things, if placed correctly, can be a pain in the ass. My biggest tip to you beginners, use drone holes, use cover, use things that obstruct line of sight, but also require attackers to really expose themselves to shoot it or waste utility. And let me get this clear, Denari is going to easily take the most playtime to get down of any operator in this game. He is the most flexible operator in the way that you can set up his ability, which means he's going to take the most time and you're going to have to learn how to set these up real quick because you don't have very much prep phase time. However, I can fully say that Denari is the most refreshing operator we've had in a long time. Yes, well, I can expect a nerf coming to him soon. Honestly, he's just a fun operator to go against as well. It's always cool seeing these insane webs. And finally, in the trailer for Denari, we actually see him place a connector when the enemies have already entered the area and the whole plan comes together. I want to see that happen in game. I don't know how you guys are going to be able to do it, but I'm going to challenge myself on trying to get that clip. Trapping attackers inside the site while it's easy to pick them off, or maybe just distract him just long enough for that diffuser not to go down. If you guys have any tips for Denari, fucking place them in the comments. Any advice goes good for anybody.